guess what we are doing here on the Creator and Me Farms? No, I'm just kidding. We are definitely new to the idea of having livestock. We've had our first batch of laying hens for about a year and decided to take on meat chickens. If you don't know what a meat chicken is, it's a Cornish hen cross, bred specifically to bulk up and make you lots of meat. If raising meat chickens isn't your thing, I hope you just stick with me to see what we've learned and just see what the process is like of raising your own meat. It was definitely a learning experience. These chicks were hatched October 2nd and we received them October 5th. The 3-day shipping, I think, caused us to lose what we did. That's really hard on the chicks if they're not getting food and water within the first 48 hours. So I'm dipping their beaks here in their water for them to be familiar with that and immediately get hydrated. I started their first few weeks of feed on the antibiotic chick starter. So we chose against the chick shot that they offer in the hatchery, but we went ahead and did a few weeks of that medicated feed just to help give them a good start. I'm noticing that they were huddled up, so I'm lowering the lamp just to give them a little more warmth. They acclimated really well. I just made this brooder from an appliance box from the local appliance store and covered the bottom in plastic and put in about 4 inches of pine shavings. We're trying to keep costs down here because we know it's going to go into a lot of feed. You can see how quickly they're growing and you can see how much they eat. These chicks eat nonstop, and when their feeder does run out, it's the end of the world, even if it's just an hour. They're so used to constant feed. We tried our best with maintenance morning and evening to never let them be without.
Okay, so this is almost a month of owning these birds, and they eat 1 or more of those feeders a day. They just eat non-stop. So far they're staying warm enough. We dropped into the 30s last night. I came in this morning. They were not all completely huddled. They're messy birds, I must say. These little Cornish hens, very different from my experiences with my egg layers, but I also did not have this quantity. The max I had was 19 when I had new chicks for my layers. So, 45 or so chickens is a lot of chickens. Morning and night maintenance, fresh layer of chips every day, scooping out all their bedding once a week. They're feathering out. They're kind of in their ugly phase, and they're about to need new living quarters. I know you're supposed to keep them tight. I have given them a perch here that they have been enjoying, and they also have this perch little rack here. So that's been my experience so far. Well, they've outgrown their box, and we are going to build them a plywood box, plastic the bottom, and get them moved. It's going to be as big as our shed space will allow, which is a good almost 8 by 8 square, somewhere in there. But it'll definitely be bigger than what they have now. They need a little more growing space, but they are some dirt. You guys are dirty. You're dirty girls.
Well, we're taking these girls and putting them in their new home. This will be where they stay until butcher. It is more than accommodating, and I'm so glad that we got everything hanging for them. Getting everything off the bedding, being able to stir that bedding, lay new layers down, scoop it out was so much better. But see their growth, tremendous growth the last few weeks. We hung yet another feeder to keep these birds continually fed and watered. Keeping the bedding fresh enough got harder and harder these last few weeks, and filling those waters was an awful chore. Sadly, at around 8 weeks, they started becoming much less mobile. Their mobility slowed down. They would just move enough to eat. They're known for having their legs break under the weight of their own bodies. These birds can get so big. We definitely didn't want to get to that point, so we went ahead and pulled the feeders 36 hours before butcher to clean out their system. My husband's going ahead and getting the kill cones set up here.
Chicken heaven. Chicken heaven.
My daughter and I are talking about the whole process, hence the chicken heaven comment. Now, disclaimer, I will not be showing any killing of the chickens. We respect very much taking the life of an animal. My husband made these kill cones with 5-gallon buckets from our big painting jobs we do over the summer. We have endless supply of those. And he used zip ties to zip tie them shut instead of buying kill cones at around $30 a piece. And we're starting a fire here to do the scalding process and setting up tables to get butchering started. We will be doing this process again. Overall, the few changes we would make is the time of year we decide to raise them, having a gravity water available for them for lower maintenance, and getting a turkey fryer for the scalding process because managing the wood fire and those inconsistencies in temperature made it difficult. My girls are starting to help collect the chickens. It was definitely something where our family continually said, "Thank you, chickens, for feeding our family."
Bring it over there, Daddy.
Is it dead already?
They fall asleep.
Don't let go.
Is it asleep?
Turn it on, Noah.
Now you can see my husband kind of ran through the process of all the steps we were going to take to get this done. So we went ahead and let the birds drain, scalded them at around 165, defeathered. Someone cut off the wingtips and the feet. Someone went ahead and took out the crow, and opened the body cavity. And someone cleaned the cavity and hosed the tables off and threw them in the ice baths. It took us about 3.5 hours to butcher all 44 of the chickens. They were on average 5-pound whole chickens, giving us about 3.5 pounds or more of meat each. We went ahead and made bowls of wings, thighs, quarters, breasts, drumettes. We wanted to have some of our meat like we would buy it in the store. We left about 10 chickens whole. We went ahead and bought food saver bags and got discounted ones on Amazon and felt that would be the best way to preserve the meat. It was a pretty easy process, fairly time consuming, but so rewarding to see that beautiful, fresh, pink meat. If you'd like some more in-depth details about butchering, I'd refer to some of the homesteading channels to get that information. That's not quite what my channel is about. After sealing up the packages, I went ahead and labeled everything to clearly identify what was inside. It was really nice doing this myself, being able to customize the portion sizes to suit our large family. We used the shrink bags to seal up the whole chicken, and the rest were all put in the food saver bags and packaged nice and flat to easily stack on one another to put in the freezer. I believe we finished out less than $5 a pound. I can't say it's organic because we did use a few weeks of medicated feed, but they were raised very well. It is such a blessing to have a freezer full of meat. And nothing went to waste. We boiled down the carcasses to make gallons of stock. I pulled the meat and carrots and added moisture to go ahead and make frozen little dog treats to put in my dog's food in the morning. I added very little salt to the broth, so I was able to just go ahead and be resourceful with every little bit of meat that continued to come off the carcasses. And I would say that Olive approves. She loves having the chicken and carrots in her food in the morning. Overall, this was not as hard or as gruesome of a process as we thought. We are very new to this experience, and I do look forward to doing again. I definitely will be purchasing our next batch of meat birds during a different season. Raising them in winter is why we put them in the shed. Wasn't ideal, like you have higher electric costs and feed costs. Now granted, Cornish hen crosses are not a free-ranging type of bird. They are not good foragers. So I'm not sure how much our feed could have reduced. Definitely if we pulled the feed at night and did more of a rotation, a day and night rotation would have saved us cost. But that did give us some good sized birds with a lot of beautiful meat. So consider it. It's something that really is feasible and can be done. Didn't have anything extra, really, just the decision to do it. In doing this, your investment is all up front, and so you're buying a lot of meat at once, and our freezer is stocked for some time. All of our family was involved between their maintenance for 9 weeks to butchering. We had a father-in-law join us, a family friend, a child's friend who chipped into the assembly line. It's definitely something worth doing, and I love knowing where my meat has been and how it's been cared for and what's in it. So thank you so much for joining me today in this journey. I look forward to seeing you again in the next video.